Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Rebecca Reardon. I am Chair of the Workplace Relations Subcommittee of the New South Wales Farmers Industrial Relations Executive Committee, and it's my privilege today to present to you the Workplace Relations Report. This is our fantastic Workplace Relations team, headed up by Gracia and ably assisted by Cassandra and Nicholas. In 2020, the team handled over 1,350 inquiries, giving personal advice on a whole range of workplace-related matters, from employee entitlements and contracts to fair work underpayment and unfair dismissal claims to terminations. They are there to look after the interests of our members as employers. One thing I've noticed in this role and as a farmer is how increasingly complex workplace relations is becoming. Employees know their rights more than ever before. Society is becoming increasingly litigious. Employers are facing an increasing amount of unfair dismissal claims, workers' compensation claims, underpayment claims. Farm businesses are more and more in the spotlight with regards to workplace health and safety. The penalties for not doing the right thing are increasing, and the legislation is becoming increasingly complex. I think that's why it's more important than ever that farmers are members of the Industrial Association, so they can navigate their way through the workplace relations maze and have someone on their side when things go wrong. New South Wales Farmers has two packages available to members for workplace relations advice. If you are a full producer member of New South Wales Farmers Association, you are automatically a member of the New South Wales Farmers Industrial Association, and you get the Workplace Relations Basics package. Included in this is the annual wage publications of the awards, 4 calls a year to a New South Wales Farmers Employment Relations Specialist, and collective representation and advocacy. But you have the option of upgrading to the Essentials package, for which you get unlimited advice, access to resources and assistance should you get a claim brought against you. My own family is on the Essentials package, and it's the best $165 that we've spent. We have used the team multiple times to get advice on pay and employee entitlements and access resources like employment contracts. I can honestly say that the value we have got out of the service far exceeds what it has cost us. I feel we are getting access to excellent advice that would otherwise cost us thousands of dollars. Cheap cover should something go wrong, and we are minimising risk of a claim or penalties which could run into tens of thousands of dollars. So I will leave it with you to consider if upgrading to Essentials is the right thing for your business. I would now like to turn to the advocacy work that is being done by our Workplace Relations team and the developments that have occurred and how they actually affect you. Every year, the Modern Award and the minimum wage are reviewed by the Fair Work Commission and changes implemented on the 1st of July. As you can imagine, there is a lot of lobbying and jockeying being done by unions. New South Wales Farmers and NFF are there to represent your interests as employer farmers. In 2020, the unions were pushing for a 4% increase to the minimum wage. However, after advocacy by the likes of New South Wales Farmers, NFF and other employer groups, the Fair Work Commission only agreed to a minimum wage increase of 1.75% and staggered its introduction. The majority of agricultural awards, including the pastoral, horticultural and aquacultural industry awards, the increase was not effective until the 1st of November 2020. Recently, unions were pushing for another 3.5% increase, but after employer group advocacy, the Fair Work Commission only introduced a minimum wage increase of 2.5%, effective the 1st of July 2021. So what does this mean for you, the employer, besides increased costs? Check what you're paying against the new awards. If you're paying a flat rate or annual wage, check that it's sufficiently high enough to satisfy any overtime wages that your employee might otherwise have been entitled to. Check that you have the correct agreement and paperwork in place. For instance, an annual wages agreement outlining the wage and calculation assumptions. And check you have the paperwork of employee hours and a reconciliation of what you are paying against the award to ensure it is sufficient. The Workplace Relations team can help you on all of this. The Mondelez versus Australian Manufacturing Workers Union and Oars was an important legal decision in 2020. It reversed a previous decision of the Federal Court that was unfavourable to employers. The High Court confirmed that personal leave, otherwise known as sick or carers leave, is based on an employee's ordinary hours of work and doesn't vary according to the employee's pattern of work. Perhaps I can best explain using an example. Assume you have a full-time employee paid by the hour, who, for instance, works on average 48 hours a week or 9 hours a day. Even though they work more than the ordinary 38 hours a week or 7.6 hours a day, they are still only entitled to 10 days per year of personal leave based on their ordinary hours of work. Hence, they should also be paid based on their ordinary hours of work and not at overtime rates. Likewise, part-time employees are entitled to pro rata paid leave according to the number of ordinary hours they work per week. So what does this mean for you as an employer? Given the ruling was in line with accepted principles, most of you are probably fine. But potentially you should review your employment contracts and revisit your payroll systems for leave accruals to ensure you are consistent with the High Court ruling. Otherwise, you may be overpaying. Again, the Workplace Relations team can help you on this. Another significant development in 2020 was in relation to casual employment. The Federal Court had previously set the precedent that casual employees may be entitled to permanent employee entitlements such as paid leave, despite the fact that they're already being paid casual loading in satisfaction of these entitlements. Fortunately, after advocacy by employer groups, the government saw fit to amend the Fair Work Act and correct this double dipping. The Act was amended to more clearly define casual employment, such that casual employment is now based on the agreement at the start of the employment. And employees can offset any claim for paid entitlements against any identifiable casual loading paid to the employee. However, in a trade-off, there is now an obligation on employers around converting casual employees to permanent status in some instances. So what does this mean for you as an employer? If you have casuals, you need to issue them a casual employment information sheet. If you employ more than 15 employees, you are required to potentially offer any casual employees whom you have employed for more than 12 months the opportunity to convert to permanent employee. If you employ less than 15 people, employees can request conversion and you can only refuse under specific business operational grounds. But it's complicated and you should seek advice from our workplace relation team if this affects you. Another area that New South Wales Farmers through the NFF has put considerable effort into is around the piecework rates. The Australian Workers' Union lodged an application to vary the Horticulture Award to introduce hourly floor rates for piecework arrangements. New South Wales Farmers has been responding to the claim on behalf of our members. We would particularly like to thank those members who have come forward as witnesses in this proceeding. The hearing for this matter has been concluded and we are currently awaiting a decision to be handed down. What does it mean for you as the employer? If you pay employees by piecework, watch this space carefully as there are likely to be changes. Labour shortages have been a huge focus of the Workplace Relations team and unfortunately they look set to continue. There's been a lot of press coverage on the issue, but solutions have been really hard to come by. New South Wales Farmers has had some success, advocating for the National Agricultural Workers Code, which classified ag workers as critical so they could continue to cross the borders. Securing a 50% subsidy on quarantine of those brought in from the Pacific Islands under the Seasonal Workers Program, and the creation of a travel bubble with New Zealand. The team will continue to lobby for free movement of ag workers across borders and likewise access for residents that coexist across borders. But the team is working on a number of other solutions. Promotional packages to attract workers in Australia to the opportunities in ag. We feel the government is just not doing enough in this area. Further financial incentives to encourage people to take up farm work. A more flexible seasonal workers program and flexible Pacific labour scheme. Better coordination to move workers around and the introduction of an ag visa. New South Wales Farmers was very disappointed in the UK free trade discussions. The government negotiated away the mandatory requirement under holiday working visas for backpackers to do farm work for their second and third year visa extensions. But we are advocating against any further removal of the mandatory farm working days under these visas. Workers' compensation is another area that New South Wales Farmers is actively advocating for on your behalf. New South Wales Farmers is part of an employers' coalition which is pushing for proper management of workers' compensation systems and ensuring premiums are kept to a minimum. You may have seen in the media the inquiry and ensuing criticisms of iCare, the New South Wales Government's entity which provides workplace injury insurance to employers. New South Wales Farmers is the only agricultural voice at the table. Farm-place work and safety continues to be a focus of New South Wales farmers. Recent research has found that farming is the second most dangerous industry to work in by rate of fatalities. On the workplace health and safety front, New South Wales farmers secured additional funding to ensure the Quad Bike Safety Improvement Rebate Program is continued until mid-2023. New South Wales farmers also secured new funding of $2 million for delivery of a 4-year farm safety advisory program. This will involve on-the-ground advisors who will provide support to farm businesses to better embed workplace health and safety into farm workplaces. So as you can see, it has been an extremely busy year for New South Wales farmers. Unfortunately, some of the issues such as labour shortage will continue to be a problem. However, New South Wales farmers will continue to advocate on your behalf. And I would encourage you to have a look at the Essentials package and consider if it is the right upgrade for you. Thank you.